don't listen to the haters. Not everybody wants you to be successful. There's gonna be haters. Kind of just put your head down and work. There's gonna be critics. I mean, there's gonna be people that tell you can't do this, tell you can't do that. But at the end of the day, you're the only person that can tell yourself you can't work. At the end of the day, when you look in the mirror, if you look in the mirror and you don't feel satisfied with what you could have done today, that means you did something wrong. You should.
AJ Hampton, welcome to the show, bro.
Yo, what's good, fam? Glad to be back with you, man. How you been?
Doing good. Just gaining and maintaining COVID. You know, the season, y'all season just finished, but our season's still going. So you know how that goes.
Yeah, grind season.
AJ, tell everybody where you're from and just a little bit about yourself.
All right, so I'm originally from, funny story, I'm originally from Arkansas. My dad is more of he's a football coach in college scene. So I typically used to move, typically pretty often, I'll say, average like every 2 years almost, just depending on where it was. Some places pretty small, some places big, but he coached at a few colleges y'all may know: Western Kentucky, USF, dog people back at the crib.
Yes, sir.
FSU, and now he's currently at ULM. But some stayed in Arkansas for a little bit. That's where I was born. And then I moved to Florida, where basically I met all my friends. Before I went off to college, met my true boys and all that. So, so I claim I'm from Florida, even though that's not where I was born at, but that's the longest place I lived. So, yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, you gotta claim Florida, gotta claim the Bay, man.
Got to.
What was it like just moving back and forth, like just growing up, having to move to new states, making new friends, stuff like that?
I will say one thing that always benefited me was me being able to play sports. So I was able to make friends easier than, say, somebody that didn't play sports, because whenever we would have practice and stuff, or just the connections early on, I would go out there to be able to practice with the team, and they'd be like, "Oh, what's up, bro? He's low key kind of good." Some people was like, "Okay, let me," not saying that everybody was just like, "Oh, let me hang out with him just because he's a good athlete," but like, you know what I mean? Like, it's easier to just make friends when you play sports with people, and that's just how you meet them. But I feel like it was definitely challenging at times. But the biggest thing, adversity, was just kind of just getting adjusted to the new atmosphere and stuff like that, not knowing what to expect, being in a different environment, stuff like that. But overall, I feel like I adjusted pretty well over my time, considering I moved a decent amount. So yeah.
I feel like sports easily, like, they help easily bridge the gap between differences in people. Like, I know you got teammates from all over the country, all over different countries. Like, I got multiple foreign teammates. So, like, even though we speak different languages, talk different, act different, like, I think sports just helps bridge the gap between people, because
it's a way to unify people.
Facts. 2020 was a crazy year, definitely a long year, unpredictable year. Plenty of adjectives to describe 2020. What did 2020 teach you?
2020 taught me to live in the moment. And when I say live in the moment, with all the stuff that happened in 2020, both bad and good, it really taught me, one, just how to appreciate every day and just go by, really enjoying myself, really trying to live in the moment. That just allowed me to really focus my energy and fully commit myself to both my friends, family, and just whatever activity I was doing. And it allowed me just really just stay focused too, because I mean, with COVID, I mean, you couldn't really go out like you wanted to anyway. So it was a good way to just challenge yourself and just work on some of your flaws and things that, I mean, just need to be worked on. But I feel like 2020 was definitely an interesting year,
to say the least. I think pretty much the same thing. Like, just being for me personally, we had spring break. It was like the second week of March. We had spring break. I came back to school for like 3 or 4 days, like maybe even a week. And then all of a sudden we just got sent home for COVID. And then I'm thinking maybe it was going to be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. And we ended up just being at home like the whole summer. Basically, we couldn't.
Who knows how long it was?
Couldn't get in the gyms for real. I mean, it's probably a little bit different with football. You could probably find a field, but you couldn't associate with too many people really. So it definitely, like you said, I think for me personally, it made me not take things for granted like just a single day, just not take things for granted for sure. And also like sports, everything, like not being able to go to the gym, not being able to go just work out or like hang out with your friends, like just the small stuff, having to think about going to just like go to the grocery store, just the small stuff. Like I think it helped me stop taking things for granted. Like you said, live in the moment a lot more.
Yeah, really cherish everything.
How has COVID affected you?
COVID. Okay, so I got COVID personally. That wasn't bad, but I'm not saying it's bad for everybody. I was locked up for the 21-day period time span. I would say that was definitely a learning. That was definitely a learning period because not being able to work out once again, being locked up in a room, isolation, the food bad, you already can't taste anything. I mean, that was definitely challenging, but one thing that kind of got me through that was just being able to play my game and then just kind of just watching a lot of film of the season and stuff like that. I mean, I'm telling you, that's all I was really doing is in the film book. I mean, I had to stay in the playbook because you got to get ready. But also, COVID as just in general, how has it affected me? My everyday experiences. I'm a very social person, and I tend to talk to almost everybody. So I will say that it's been hard because everybody is wearing a mask, so I can't read faces. Also, people 6 feet, so they don't really want to interact with you. So that's been just a big. That will say it's been a big deflating thing, especially on my social aspects. I can't talk to people. I can't hang out. Can't even go to parties. Can't even really go. You can't really do anything. But I mean, it's been, it is what it is.
Yeah, I know. Just knowing you, I know that's definitely affected you because you be like to be social. Like I think I'm pretty social, but you more social. I think like social distancing is pretty normal for me. I just been just chilling, but I know you like to get out a little bit and make friends, stuff like that.
Definitely had to change a little bit, just a little bit, past few years.
Yeah, for sure. How did you start playing football?
So I actually didn't start playing football till middle school, back when I was probably in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Because back in Arkansas, when I used to stay in Arkansas, we didn't have necessarily a football team. So my first sport typically was baseball. Played shortstop and second base. Then I ended up playing center field when I got to high school. But I stopped playing baseball my sophomore year. So that was actually my first sport. So once I started playing football in middle school, like I'm not gonna lie, I started off kind of like, I really like it, the hit, it's rough, it's different because everybody first time. So, I adjusted to that a little bit. And then I started playing offense, started getting touchdowns. I was like, okay, I can just run away from people. So I was like, you know what? Let me get this a little bit of chance. And then, I mean, just every year I just started playing football and it kind of just went one step up every year. I realized I was starting to be the best player on each team. I was like, all right, I got an opportunity. Just gotta keep going at it one step at a time, whatever that one day, 1%. That's what I like to say, to get 1% better.
When did you start? Like you kind of just touched on it, but like when did you really just start to lock in and like develop that kind of mindset?
So I'll say probably the beginning of my sophomore year, because typically, so my dad, with him being a coach, he kind of had like the little layout of kind of knowing when coaches started really looking for players. So he started letting me know, like, all right, you're gonna have to start getting ready to take your ACT, SAT, sophomore year and stuff like that, just to have the numbers in. So I was like, all right, in terms of high school, I mean, this is kind of where it starts. If I want to go to college for free, stuff like that, the sophomore year, kind of really a big year because that's when you start getting noticed, you get your name in the books, then it starts going around, other teams, blah, blah. So then it's just, I feel like that was really a really breakout year for me because that was also when I kind of got my first offer out at not 707 camp, a Rivals camp. It was actually in Tampa by Nebraska. So once I realized I got that first offer, I was like, really, the sky's the limit. So I was like, man, let me just keep going. Let me play a little bit of offense, play a little bit more defense, talk a little bit of trash, play with swagger. But I mean, it's kind of, I realized my sophomore year that this is when you start kicking it in. You really want to be serious about it.
I think you was at Wharton when you got that offer, right?
Yeah, that was the first year, like when I first got it.
Yeah, that was pretty much like one of the first introductions to you, really, because I didn't know you before because you wasn't from there. But then you just came, like, we had like Tate, Chase, like just people in
That's
general.
what I'm saying. Now, y'all had plenty of great players. Like even John, because John ended up getting offered that year too, I believe. What, South Carolina was maybe his first one. But
Fact. I remember you got the Nebraska offer. I was like, oh, so he liked that like that. All right. Because you know, it's a lot of pretend football players. So I was like,
I ain't about to pretend. I'm just gonna play. I just love playing football. That's all.
Facts. Who are some players that you used to look up to and like you still do? Like, who do you study? Who do you like to watch?
So the players I used to look up to, one, I mean, was my dad because he used to play the position cornerback. You know, he's been in the league, he's been coaching. So obviously, he's kind of been like my first role model. In terms of people in the league now, I'll say I used to watch Patrick Peterson all the time growing up. Tyrann Mathieu, really all the LSU's DB quarterback. I mean, back then, Eric Reed. I can say some more. Morris Claiborne, but kind of in the league now, I love Jalen Ramsey, love Jair Alexander. I mean, kind of with Marshawn Lattimore. I mean, I can go on. I kind of like picking pieces out of everybody's game, considering that everybody plays it a little bit different, and they all are really top tier corners. So I feel like you could easily grab something from them and incorporate it in your game. So I mean, honestly, I tend to watch. I mean, if it's a top corner, I will say I watch him very often. Like Xavier Howard, he's from Miami, so you know I watch a lot of. I mean, from Florida, so I just watch it just because. But I mean, typically, if you're a top corner, I mean, I'm looking at you because I just like watching film, and I'm trying to get to that next stage. So I'm trying to kind of already separate myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of the same with me. Like, I just like to watch a bunch of different people, guards, forwards, big men. Like, because you can really, if you really know the game, you know what you're looking for. You can learn from and take stuff from anybody, really. Anything you like, don't like. So definitely. Do you think the way that you watch film and the way that you study players helps you and your game and helps you on the field?
I mean, no, it definitely does, because when I watch film, I kind of get a feel for how the player is going to try to attack me. And I also, what I do, I look at a lot of film of myself, because I mean, it's good to watch film of your opponent, but also you need to know what your weaknesses are. So when I do that, I like seeing, all right, how he's going to attack me. What is the thing I'm going to do? Is I'm fast, or is he going to try to open me up quick? Is he going to try to bully me off the line because he thinks I'm not strong? You know what I mean? There's stuff like that. So that really helps in terms of me building my game plan and then how I'm going to attack the person. And then in terms of just like the bigger picture, it's like our whole game plan picture, like versus the team in general. So I will say it definitely makes it easier. And then it's also a confidence thing. So like if I know how he finna run this route, I'm like, bro, I'm really not worried. But like, you finna run this little weak behind route? Come on, bro. Don't be wasting my time.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like when you watch your own film and you watch it with the right intentions, like not just looking at your highlights, like if you actually watch it and you got to be, obviously you're always going to be your biggest critic. Well, not always, not everybody, but in my case, I know in your case, but like if you watch your highlight or not your highlights, if you watch your film with good intentions, you can always learn a lot and take stuff from day to day, week to week, and just improve your game. So we just talked about it. You got to Wharton your sophomore year, picked up the Nebraska offer. First, what was Wharton like to you just as a school? And then we'll talk about your football career.
Oh man, hey, Wharton is a school. I'm gonna be honest. I made a lot of close friends at Wharton. I feel like what Wharton offered to me was something that I haven't really seen before. Wharton was a really big school, and I've never been to Florida, so in terms of just being overwhelmed, like it was an outside school. The weather was nice every day. I mean, we could talk about some of the bad things, like there were fights every day. You know, the lunchroom. I mean, the stuff that we kind of know. But I mean, in terms of like just the people I met there, I will say that I made a lot of good connections, both in sports and then just friends and networking and stuff like that. But I mean, it was really, I don't really got nothing bad to say about Wharton, because I mean, I kind of did what I needed to do there, you know, got out, but it was good. I mean, nothing bad. It provided me with an education and a lot of good resources. I mean, old Coach Mitchell, you know, gave me a little pep talk. And Coach Tate, my track coach, you know, he helped me get my job done. But I feel like all the people I hung around with, they knew that they kind of wanted to either be something different in life or have correct goals. So that also helped me with kind of staying focused throughout high school too. So really the biggest thing, probably the friends and just people I was around, because the mindset was a big thing.
I feel like going to Wharton, I had opportunities. My parents, other people were talking, like a lot of my friends coming from middle school, they were going to different schools, like private schools, stuff like that. But I had never been to a public school. And when I went to Wharton, first you mentioned the lunchroom. My first day at school, I definitely was overwhelmed by lunch. Like I was
So sad.
what, but I think just
Different.
the diversity of everything, like it's close as you're gonna get to the real world. Like you never
There's
like at a
so many
private
people
school.
there, bro. Oh my goodness. I still think about that today. You tell people our class was so packed, just our class. And that's not even considering the whole school, because the school was always full, like the hallways. Like, I wish people could have seen what our hallways looked like when the bell rung.
Right. Everybody running out the class.
Everybody.
But yeah, I think we became better friends. I forgot what year. I think it was our junior year. We had a Holocaust class with Ms. Abar.
Hey, you remember what's the name? I ain't gonna get all shout outs, but those were some good times. Holocaust.
Yeah, we took a whole class about the Holocaust for 18 weeks. Like, and that class we didn't even learn a lot. Like we learned a lot of stuff, but I'm sure there's
But we were watching
colleges.
movies too for a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah,
We're not
that was the first class.
We're not gonna talk too much about the Holocaust class, but just know whatever you think you know about the Holocaust, there's a lot more that you can know.
There's a lot more.
More year at Wharton, like we talked about earlier, you picked up the Nebraska offer. Things were pretty much on the up and up. What was your experience like playing at Wharton?
My experience was good. My sophomore year, we ended up going 8-2. So I knew that we could compete. We had the athletes. We just kind of had to kind of build that standard of winning and being used to winning, because I was Wharton, like where everybody was like, oh, ain't nobody worried about Wharton. Let's go to plan. So that was kind of one thing that was never really like set in stone, which I kind of wish we would have been able to get around. But it's kind of hard when you don't have all the players you want. But my time at Wharton, I loved it because I mean I was always out there playing football. My junior year, it was kind of the first turnaround, realizing that things was getting kind of rough. So that's when I kind of realized I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to end up start playing offense. So it's senior year, and I'm playing offense. Had a great little senior year, a little highlight tape, nothing crazy. Went 2-6. I mean, 2-6 or 2-8, whatever it was. To be honest, wasn't the best, but that didn't really change from the experience because I knew what I came there to do. I ended up doing, and all the connections was made. So that was good. And I was like, all right, on to the next. Can't really live in the past.
Yeah, I remember when you first got there. I remember you was just like you was always a stud, but you was playing DB, and then we came back the next year. You was playing offense, getting direct snaps, catching screens, running the ball. I'm like, man, what the? But that's when I realized that you was actually like when I seen you playing offense, because like I used to play football, but I know like a good amount of football, but I don't know as much as you, obviously. But like playing DB, like just watching the games, I wasn't like just gauging like how fast you were really. But when you started playing offense and you started getting the ball, like I started to see like you had like real deals.
Yeah, see, that was my mindset going into my junior year. Like I had offers. That's funny that you said that. But one of the things they kind of wanted to showcase, they was like, okay, we see you can play DB, but they're really not throwing the ball at you because you're a top tier player. So like, I mean, if you can, try to get on offense. We're not going to make you get on offense, nothing like that. But showcase some of that speed. Because that was also funny because my coach Mack, he actually came to my track practice at Northwestern. I mean, not at Northwestern. Back when we was at Wharton, he was like, I just want to see you run. So that was kind of the whole reason I even started playing offense my senior year, because like Coach said, they wanted to see me run, see if the full court speed was real, which it is, but that's kind of all that was. I just had to show them what I could do a little bit, talk a little trash, just enjoy playing football.
I feel like my younger brother, he class of 2023. He's a pretty good DB. Like he led his team in picks his freshman year. He didn't even start. He had a good sophomore year. I know you probably wish that they did a little bit better, but like that's what I feel like I want to see him do. Like obviously I don't have no control over it, but like I want to see him like get on the offensive side of the ball and make an impact on offense, because once in high school, like first off, unless you play in a team that has an offense already where they
that's
just
what I'm saying.
it go, you're not gonna throw it.
That's what I'm saying. The best athlete most of the time, especially in Florida, should be playing both ways unless you're at one of those top tier schools that have a good group of athletes, which that goes into other reasons why they go there. But you just gotta do what you gotta do, especially if you're trying to get that spotlight. You gotta do something that separates yourself. while them good teams only playing one side of the ball, they getting the little state ring, but who knows? The defensive players may not be getting the offense they want. So
Right. We touched on it a little bit earlier. Well, you mentioned that your first sport was baseball, but at Wharton in high school, when we met, you were playing football and running track. Talk about how track helped you and your experience running track.
My experience running track, it's funny. Track is actually the only sport I would say I truly get so nervous in, because I used to run the 400, and I feel like that's definitely one of the hardest races, if not the hardest races, other than probably the 800. That race really taught me how to fully trust myself, my body, and really run to technique sound and kind of have everything planned out. Because that race there's really no getting around it. That's probably the amount of pain I used to feel in that race, man. It was kind of indescribable. But in terms of my experience, I'll say we always had a really good track team. The girls team was always really good. The boys team was good. We weren't the best, but we were the best in our typically conference, and we won district and regional. So my experience there was really good, especially track, because all the track meets used to be packed. I mean, that was really probably one of my favorite experiences, other than the football, was the track meets and all that stuff. The 4x4 relays, all the little relay races, but being there all day just to run one race. So, I mean, that was good.
Yeah, I used to be at the track meets, not competing, but I used to be out there, you feel me? How did track help you on the field?
So track helped me on the field because with track, we worked a lot of running fundamentals and just running form and stuff like that. So it taught me how to use my body when running. And also it taught me how to really fully extend and be powerful coming off the line. Cause we used to work on a lot of technique stuff, driving our knees, dorsiflexing and stuff like that. I mean, all the stuff you'll probably hear from a lot of running coaches and stuff like that. But that just really, and also helped me to develop my speed even more. Because I was fast, but my dad always said, I mean, if you don't use your speed, you're gonna lose it. So that's kind of why I stopped playing baseball, started running track. I was like, I mean, if I'm wanting to play football, I might as well get faster before I go. So
Mr. Newton used to always be on me every year talking about come run track, come jump, come this. First, I never was confident enough to actually run. I don't know what I would have ran, because I was like, I'm definitely not as fast as you or some of the other people out there. So I knew I wasn't running no 400 or nothing like that, or no sprints. That was for sure not happening. But then he used to tell me I could come jump, and I was like, at first I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. But then looking back now, I just wish I would have did it just for the experience, like you said.
You never know.
Yeah, for sure. You played 7-on-7 with Team Tampa when you came to Tampa. Talk to me about that program, what it did for you, and what it was like just playing with a bunch of good players.
That was a really good opportunity because it felt like getting ready to go to college, playing with Team Tampa before getting ready to go there. I got a lot of competition against a lot of good wide receivers. Warren J. Thompson, Jay Sean Jones, which we played them this year in Maryland. Shockey Lewis. I mean, the name goes on. Wayne Dennis, who's on my team right now. So I feel like that was really good because it set me up and kind of prepared me, obviously, to go against people in college. But it was just good. The more you rep stuff, the more you practice it, obviously, the better you get. And in terms of that, me playing corner, because I hadn't really played corner too long going into 7-on-7 for Team Tampa. So that was really good to kind of get weight underneath my belt. And we were playing a lot of people, a lot of talent. You know how 7-on-7 is. So that was really good in terms of just being able to go around, see a lot of football, just play, react, just have fun. And then just the experience, 7-on-7 is just a really fun time. Everybody's out there just cutting up, just, playing ball.
For sure. So I think 7-on-7 is basically the equivalent of playing AAU ball for basketball. But I feel I used to go to 7-on-7 tournaments when I wasn't playing. I obviously wasn't playing, but I would just go and watch. And it's a lot of good players all the time. The IMG tournaments, all the big tournaments is always gonna be some guys you don't know that's good, guys you know that's good, guys you thought was good, but when you really see them in person, they're not that good.
I'm telling you, the film don't lie.
Yeah, that's what everybody. That's what we always say. No matter what you ranked, whatever people say about you, once you step on the court, once you get on the field, on the track, whatever you play, once you get out there,
the numbers don't lie. Exactly.
For sure.
Put up or shut up.
We talked about Nebraska being your first offer, but what was your recruiting process like when you were coming out of high school?
My recruiting process was pretty good. I would say it definitely got kind of stressful towards my ending years because my going into my junior year, I was committed to Toledo in Ohio. I committed to them early on because it just going into the season, I didn't know if I was going to get injured or not. And I'm gonna be honest, they were one of my first schools that really showed me that they trusted in me, and one of the first schools that offered me. So that obviously meant a lot because I mean they showed faith in me and they kind of wanted me to be there kind of before everybody else showed up. After I had a good year, my senior year, so I was committed to them. That was a great experience. You know, I took all my official visits. I took three. I ended up going to Purdue, Toledo, and then obviously I took my official to Northwestern. All those were really fun experiences. Getting to see the facility, seeing the players. I mean, you know, those visits, you know, they're trying to spoil you. So you know what I mean. Everything's gonna be good. They're not gonna show you all the bad stuff. But I feel like kind of the most negative thing that kind of I wouldn't say negative. The thing that kind of was the most challenging was the making the decision to go to Northwestern over Toledo because I had been committed to Toledo for so long, and I love the coaches. I still do to this day. I mean, and they showed trust in me, and they wanted me to come there early on before. But I feel like the thing that Northwestern offered me that kind of made me go there was one, the education and the name behind the degree, which is good. And then two, obviously, I was able to play Big Ten, Power Five football in the best conference, be on TV, you know, just getting to play football. I mean, the sport that I love. So, I mean, that, and then just being able to network with some of the donors and people with the connections that Northwestern has because it's such a very prestigious school. So,
Yeah, Northwestern is like it's not an Ivy League school, but it's definitely like kind
yeah,
of
it's
on
definitely,
that level. Like a lot of
yeah.
very bright people, a lot of connections and networking that I know you take part in. So when I seen that you was going to Northwestern, I was like, yeah, that's definitely a good decision. I'm sure, like you said, I remember you committed to Toledo. You was committed to them for a long time, so I knew you
Yeah.
like that was probably definitely a stressful decision, like you said. But Northwestern, definitely, I it was a great decision for me just
That's
from
what I'm saying.
just from
Everybody tells me that. That's what I'm saying.
uh,
I made the right decision. I did.
and the Purple Heart, man.
Yeah, no, the purple it ain't. They get better with it too now.
Yeah, for sure. What would be your best advice that you would give somebody that's going through the recruiting process right now or might possibly be going through it soon?
One, you gotta work. You gotta put in the work. Obviously, coaches will find you if you really want to get an offer. Oh my bad. If you really want to get an offer, at the end of the day, all you gotta do is work. Because coaches are gonna find our players. At the end of the day, if you're good, the coach is gonna find you. So by putting in that work, working every day, separating yourself from the people that don't have the same mindset as you. I'm not necessarily saying you don't have to hang out, you can't chill, go to parties and stuff like that. But in terms of knowing what you want to do, if you really want to do something, you're gonna do extra and you can go over and beyond just to be great, set the standard. So that's obviously one thing. Your lowest has to be the highest, and you got to think you're also competing with other people around the country because a lot of people want to play Division One football. A lot of people want to go to the NFL. So you got to think by me doing this. If I'm sitting here playing the game, I wonder what this other kid's doing. Maybe he's doing push-ups. Maybe he's doing DB drills. So while he's over here getting better, I'm over here playing the game, chilling. I mean, you gotta prioritize. You gotta have your standards right. You gotta have your mind right. You gotta know what you want to do because I mean it's not gonna be easy, but I mean you know what you're signing up for, and if you really want to do it, there's nothing that's gonna stop you from doing that. So I mean, just honestly, just keep working. I feel like that's the biggest thing. Work, work, work. I mean, if you have time, put in work. Do push-ups in your free time. Get a deck of cards. After each game, do a set of push-ups. I mean, who knows? You could always find a way to get better. I mean, it's just 1%.
I like that 1%. I heard Nipsey Hussle talk about just laying a brick every day. You always hear Rome wasn't built in a day, all those kind of things. They all sound cliche, but once you really start putting in the work, just doing little by little, and you start to see the results, like it becomes just a habit. It becomes habitual, and you'll just want to keep working hard, keep getting better and better.
Just find one thing before practice. That's kind of what I do before practice. See, whenever we're trying to go out, I think, all right, what one thing do I want to work on? Whether that be backpedaling, whether that be eye progression, staying low on my pedal. I mean, getting both hands on in the jam, stuff like that. Just find one thing that you can correct each day, You correct one thing each day, who knows? You'll have 100 things by the time the season starts.
So you went to Northwestern coming out of high school. What was it like when you first got to Northwestern your freshman year?
Big adjustment to the weather. Definitely not as glorious as Florida. You know, it wasn't warm all the time. I will say it's nice when the weather is warm, but when it's cold, it's cold. And I mean, it's cold. Classes weren't bad early on, but it was an adjustment. In terms of the amount of reading and like just kind of papers that we kind of have to like break down and just, but like they're really big on theory and like knowing the information more than just filling in like the words and stuff like that. So that was kind of adjustment, not being able to just easily get by like in high school. So like they were really looking forward to like real information, especially with the school being so prestigious. So I mean that was good. I mean, but it was also not bad because I had a lot of tours. So I was able to work on that. But I feel like the schoolwork, obviously, because I mean that's a big change that everybody kind of has to go through. So from high school to college, and then the workouts. I mean, everybody says the workouts are going to be hard. They weren't crazy hard, but it was an adjustment in terms of running. Because in college football, you run just as much as you lift. So if you weren't running already, I mean, you're going to start feeling it. So, I mean, yeah.
What's it like being a student athlete, and how do you find the even ground and the balance in like trying to pursue greatness in both of those?
I'll say being a student athlete is definitely a fun challenge, I would say. Because one thing that has taught me really well that I feel like I'll be able to take over when I get done with school is how to really balance and manage my time and prioritize what I need to get done. So that was kind of the biggest thing. It's taught me to focus on only kind of what's important at that moment and kind of not get caught up. It's also taught me to kind of take time to myself sometimes, especially like when all the work and stuff gets on you, just to decompress and just relax and just understand to just take a deep breath, you know, and just get back to working. But it's also just kind of made me a lot stronger in terms of being able to put up with more stuff, just kind of because the thick skin being the athlete part, because a lot of people say some crazy things, but it's also that's not the kind of the highlight of being an athlete. The highlight of being an athlete is your team, being around the coaches, the connections you make, just the experience itself, playing the sport, which is doing something you love. So I mean, being a student athlete has honestly been kind of a dream come true, especially playing in college and playing Big Ten championship. I mean, stuff like that's just so surreal. Having all your friends watch you, saying, "Oh, that's my friend right there." Like that's something everybody wants to experience it. But so I'll say it's definitely been a great experience. I mean, I'm never gonna forget it. It's also just something that I'll say it's taught me something each and every day. So,
Man, playing in the Big Ten, I know it's crazy. I remember, bruh. So when y'all played Ohio State, bruh, I know you remember the play. You had made a big play. You whacked somebody. I think
yeah,
broke up a pass. Bro, my mom, she was watching the game. I was out somewhere. She just called me. She was like, "You know AJ Hampton? He's from Tampa. He went to Wharton High School." Da, 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 da. I was like, "Of course, like yes." And then I wasn't there to see the play, so after I got back when the game was over, I was watching the highlights. I was like, "Oh yeah, AJ might be on the Sports Center, man, big
yeah,
time."
yeah. That's always good. I feel like all publicity is good publicity. Whether just your name is in the media, but I would mostly prefer if it's good. You know what I mean? But
But like just to touch on the stuff you were talking about, being a student athlete, I think it's definitely challenging. It's definitely not easy, and it's definitely not for everybody. But I think if you're like determined and you're the type of person that likes challenges versus running away from them, it's like a perfect challenge. Like it's definitely not impossible, but it's definitely not easy either. And I like me personally, like I enjoy being a student athlete, even though it's hard sometimes. You be tired, you don't want to do homework, like it's all the basic struggles. It's like to me, it's like you're gonna have the same. If I wasn't doing this, I would be having different kinds of struggles like on a daily
exactly.
basis. I'd rather be having these kind of struggles, like because it could always be worse.
These minor struggles.
Yeah, it could always be worse, and there's always people going through worse situations. So I think just the stuff that I go through that like I find tough, that's just school, basketball, whatever. Like it could always be worse. So I just try to keep a positive mindset, and you just got to remember that is what you signed up for. Remember what you're doing it for. But like you said, I think it's I love it. I wouldn't trade it
Oh
for
yeah.
anything really.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
But you've had a lot of success from middle school, high school. Now you're in college, big time school. What motivates you to just keep working hard and keep going, even though you've accomplished so much?
I kind of personally, I want to be great, and I want to go to the NFL. And I know the potential that I have in myself, and I kind of know with my speed and my talent that the sky is the limit. So what? Why would I stop here? Why wouldn't I keep going? Why wouldn't I just get 1% better every day? Why wouldn't I go to practice and encourage my teammates, help my teammates out? Like if I have the knowledge and I have the skill, why let it go to waste? I mean, there's no reason for me to not both get a great education and then not being able to play top tier football. Like, so that's kind of one thing that motivates me. And then knowing, I mean, I want to be able to support my family, my future family, obviously. I don't want to be, uncertain about where my next meal is going to come from. So me knowing that I have that ability and knowing the type of money I could get from that ability, why not try to get to that goal? But obviously, I mean, who knows what I'm gonna do after? I mean, I'm definitely gonna try to coach, get into the sport industry. But I mean, just stuff like that, just knowing what I want my future to look like and what my goals, and then also just knowing who I am as a person. So,
Like we all, as athletes and people in general, we all know people that you go home or you go here or there, they'll tell you, oh, I could have been this, I could have did that, I should have did this, but that. And I think one of my biggest motivations, I don't want to be like that person. I don't want to be done playing basketball in 10 years or however many years whenever I finish playing and just be like, I had this much more to give, or I could have did this, I could have did that. So like, I think that would just be just a painful regret, just thinking back just thinking back on what I could have did and should have did. So like we talked about at the beginning of the show, just living in the moment, like we've been talking about consistently throughout, just taking it day by day, building it brick by brick, 1% better every day. I think all of that just comes into play. And that's the reason I stay motivated also.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
I know people probably don't know from the outside, but I know just from being friends with you in high school, you're big in your faith, big in your faith in God. Talk to me about that and how you feel about that. Y'all also don't know, y'all need to add AJ on Snapchat every Sunday, man. We get a show. My man be jamming to his gospel music, dancing. Tell me about that.
I feel like one thing that's faith. I was raised in a very religious family, and that's always been like a great background, and it's helped me to also keep my mind focused and just have that really just religious background and just that connection with the Lord, and just being able to talk to Him about my problems, knowing that I'm always going to be I'm gonna be okay, and I know that I'm gonna be successful because I know what He's promised me. So just knowing that and knowing that whatever I do, he has a plan for me, allows me to go every day 100%. No matter what it is, I'm going to give my best. Because I know his plan for me is greater. And I may not know it now, but I know that it's gonna be pay off in later off in life. And then in terms of just how like I use that in football and just in every day, like especially when times are rough, I know I just read the Bible. Also, talking to my mom and just dad about stuff like that, it's able to really it's kind of open us up as a family, and it's just able to it's kind of taught me how to talk more about my just feelings and stuff like that. And I mean, it's just also, I mean, being a Christian, we just go to church every Sunday, every Wednesday, Saturdays sometimes too, depending on. So I was always in church every day, all day. So I was kind of just been born around it, choir, all of that. I mean, we all know how it is. Chameleon. So, been around it my whole life. That ain't going nowhere.
Facts. I definitely used to be in the choir days, used to be singing. Yeah. I was a tenor, even though my voice probably wasn't even that deep. But I like everything you just said. I tell myself all the time, walk by faith, not by sight. Like you said, God has a plan for you. I feel the same way. I just feel like as long as I'm being like giving glory to Him and just being a good person, like I'll always be in good hands. I'll be successful. Even like you said, also, even though you don't know exactly what's meant for you, what's for you in the future, what His plan is for you, I feel like if you just stay focused and stay focused on him, keep your faith in him, just be a good person, do the right things. Like, I feel like it'll always work out. You'll always be all right. What would be one thing that you would tell somebody that's up and coming, that's trying to make it, either football, basketball, sports, life, like anything? What would be your one piece of advice to somebody that's just trying to do better?
Don't listen to the haters. Not everybody wants you to be successful. There's gonna be haters. Kind of just put your head down and work. There's gonna be critics. I mean, there's gonna be people that tell you can't do this, tell you can't do that. But at the end of the day, you're the only person that can tell yourself you can't work. At the end of the day, when you look in the mirror, if you look in the mirror and you don't feel satisfied with what you could have done today, that means you did something wrong. You should look in the mirror every day and feel like, did I do everything I need to do today? Did I give 100% to my coworker? Did I give 100% on the job? Was I slacking? Was I doing this? And you can't look yourself in the mirror, and if you accept that, then that's okay. That's how you are. But if you can't accept that, then that's one thing. And also just keep working. That kind of ties into the hater thing. If you work, you can prove anybody wrong. I don't care who you is. I mean, just keep working, put your head down, and then just get into your little zone, lock in. Because humans can do some crazy things, and you just got to put your mind to it. So, I mean, that's kind of really all it is. I've seen players that I was like, dang, bro, you got to step it up. Come back next year, locked in on a whole nother level, stuff like that. So really just put your head down, don't really listen to anybody, and just go to work. Because the things you could do, so, yeah, you're going to thank yourself later.
For sure. I like what you said, not listen to the haters, but also you can't listen to people that, like, it's always going to be people that's telling you bad things, but it's also going to be people that's
telling you always
good things too, trying to gas your head up. Like, you can't let good news and good things gas your head up, like knock you off your pivot, have you being unfocused, but also, like you said, negative things too. Like, I feel like it's just best to stay as even keel as possible, try to be humble always, and
always,
like you said, put your head down and work. Like, I had that as my screensaver for a couple months, and just looking at that every day just had me in a different vibe. I was laser focused, like, but that's one of my favorite things to think, to say, that I say to myself. I write it, put your head down and work. Because like you said, just consistency in a specific grind, whatever you're doing, literally whatever walk of life you're in, whatever you're doing, just the consistency of working hard, like you said, it could be mind blowing.
Yeah, you ain't even gotta let everybody know you working hard either. We all know those people that post, "Oh, I'm out here getting work," but you ain't gotta do all that. If you really putting in work, we gonna see it on the field at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So you ain't gotta impress nobody. At the end of the day, you gotta impress yourself. You gotta make sure you are happy. You know, do what you plan here to do.
All right, we're gonna do the speed round just to wrap things up. Just quick answers, whatever's on your mind. Who are your top 5 DBs of all time?
Oh, Deion Sanders. I'm probably don't get on me because I'm probably forgetting a lot. There's a lot of good DBs. I say Deion Sanders, Jalen Ramsey, all time. Dang, I'm gonna throw me in there because I'm definitely gonna be one of that. So I go 3 right now. Dang, you just put me on the spot. All time. I'm trying to think. Now, when you say all time, I'm trying to think, like, obviously back then. Oh, did I say Patrick Peterson? Patrick Peterson is definitely in there. Who else I want to throw? I throw Peanut Tillman in there because he's kind of that little peanut punch. Just that aspect of this game. So I say, yeah. You know, it could probably be better, but you know, I kind of look at a lot of players, so you know what I mean.
I like your 5. I think you're missing one person.
Oh, I probably am. Don't judge me.
Charles Woodson. Charles Woodson?
Oh yeah, no, definitely Charles Woodson. He's absolute dog. And my man just got back to Hall of Fame.
Facts. Yeah. All right. Chick-fil-A or Zaxby's?
Need that Zaxby's, man. People. I mean, Chick-fil-A is good. They got the milkshakes. But see, I used to be in Georgia, but like I used to stay in Georgia, we used to eat Zaxby's all the time. The one thing I like about Zaxby's is the amount of food you can get sometimes. Like, you get the bread, you get the fries, you can get the boneless wings and things. So you can get the wings and the tenders. But, I mean, I will say it kind of fell off because that's kind of all they have now. And it's kind of basic. So I will say in terms of Chick-fil-A, I'm gonna go Zaxby's. I'm gonna stick with Zaxby's. The Zax sauce.
I respect it. This is tough. I had to ask it.
It's tough. It's tough. I really want to go to Chick-fil-A. I ain't gonna lie. I eat Chick-fil-A a lot more now. I definitely eat Chick-fil-A a lot.
I feel like Chick-fil-A just so good because number one, you got good customer service and everything. No matter what you order, it's gonna taste the same no matter where you go. Like you get a chicken sandwich, it's gonna taste the same. You get everything gonna taste the same.
And there's also a Chick-fil-A everywhere. Everybody doesn't have a Zaxby's. Like up here, we don't have Zaxby's. We have Raising Cane's. Like,
yeah,
but that's not bad. But you know, it is what it is.
What's a couple of your favorite gospel songs?
Revolution, Kirk Franklin. You know, that's a basic one. Hosanna, Timberland, Break Every Chain. I mean, I can keep going. I know a lot. I love Fred Heaven. Let's see. Who else? I really listen to everybody. Kings of Lion. Let's see. You know, I'll show y'all my playlist real quick just so y'all can see.
We're getting an inside look at the vault, man.
Hey, so it's called right here. Hold on, let's see if y'all can see that. It's called Gospel Blessings. If you can't, you know, I'll share the link if y'all want that. You know, get right. Be praising the Lord every Sunday, sometimes Saturday. I always listen to the gospel music though before the morning. I feel like it's one thing to just really get the mind open. You know?
For sure. What's your favorite Big Ten road game?
Ohio State, hands down. Hands down. I always love playing Ohio State. They always be running them out. They're really not even like that. Honestly, if we would have had a little bit better offense, and I love my offense, you know, people are not really messing with us like that. I'm just going to keep it 100.
What are some of your future plans for after your football career?
Definitely be a coach. And I also want to do something with kids because I'm very social. And I also want to do something in terms of like TV related. So in terms of either being like a little sports announcer or just being like, you know, commentator, you know, just doing something probably ESPN. If I can get my connections up, which I plan on trying to do and stuff like that. But definitely, you know, I've got to do something with kids. I just love interacting. I have a lot of energy, which I've always had. So.
Who's the number one influence in your life?
Definitely my parents. I don't want to split them up because they both. I mean, my mom has always been there, especially when my dad's been coaching. In terms of, she's been the one to help me with almost all the homework. Sometimes when I used to play baseball, she would go out there and throw the baseball with me until I got too big, and she was like, I can't do this no more. And then obviously my dad, in terms of football, because of kind of the connection we have now, him always sending me the big text message after the game of notes, what I could have done better, this and that. So definitely both of them. And I kind of look up to them because the role models they are for me and kind of the standards, and just they know how great I could be, and they kind of hold me to that standard. So
for sure. Last question. If you could spend a day with 3 people, dead or alive, who would they be and why?
Jesus, because, you know, just to go for obvious reasons. This is funny. Snoop Dogg. And he's trying to be funny. Snoop Dogg, just, you know, we know why with Snoop Dogg. I ain't like that. Don't be trying to get me like that. And then I ain't gonna lie, I gotta go Beyonce. I love Beyonce. No offense to my man Jay-Z, but Beyonce, oh my.
That's a legendary list.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the list. All right. Well, that's about it for the show. AJ, let everybody know where they can find you, Instagram, so all your social media, whatever you want to link. I'll have it down in the bio as well, but let everybody know.
Got y'all boys and girls, you know, add your boy at AJ Hampton 11 on Instagram, and on Snapchat is the Hamp21, and then Twitter should also be AJ Hampton 11. Pretty straightforward. You know, I'll give y'all a follow back. Hey, we gotta talk though, because I ain't just following back people I don't talk to. So, you know what I mean? But nah, I appreciate being on the show, connecting with my boy DJ. It's been a minute, man. Miss my boy.
Appreciate you, bro. Thank you for doing this. Thank you.
Anytime, man.